Good morning, everybody. It's Dave from Weichert Realtors Lake Point here again. One of my little short informative videos. I hope they're informative. Every month the Wisconsin Realtors Association puts out what's called its monthly housing report. And it just kind of gives a snapshot of the housing market in Wisconsin. And then it breaks it down by state, or not by state, by county. And so the September report came out on Monday. And I thought it was interesting because it's kind of bearing out some anecdotal information we kind of feel in the real estate industry, and that maybe people kind of feel, the public kind of feel themselves. A lot of people have talked for the last 9 months about how hot the market is. You probably heard that at conversations you've had with friends if they talk about real estate at all. I know in the real estate market we've talked about it. And this spring it was, frankly, almost insane. We just saw things we hadn't really seen. We saw tons of buyers in the market, not enough houses. There was 20 offers on properties, 25 sometimes. Houses selling for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over list price. It was just crazy. The interesting thing about the September report is that it's kind of showing the effects of that. And it doesn't mean that it's not still a hot market, because it certainly is. Although I think in the real estate circles, we have started to see what we might think is a softening just a little bit. At least it's becoming slightly more competitive for buyers. Not all buyers all the time, but you have a little better chance than you did in April of landing a house. But you can also see that one of the reasons for that isn't that we've had a lot more inventory enter the market. It's that it seems that what happened in the spring and into the summer has just caused people to pull back. There's less buyers in the market. There's still not a huge inventory glut, and interest rates have stayed roughly the same. So, I mean, this month's report, and I wrote a little blog post about this. I'll post the link in the video. But in September, listings statewide were down 10%. So there's even fewer houses, if anything, on the market. But we also saw sales go down 9%, almost. And so what we're seeing is, I think, people simply going, I'm just not going to deal with this anymore. I just can't handle it. It's too expensive, or I'm sick of losing deals. And I think that's an interesting thing that's happened, because home prices have continued to rise. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard to know and to predict how things will go. There's other factors. Sometimes things get a little slower in the autumn. People kind of see the spring as the big real estate season, which can mean that autumn actually is a pretty good time sometimes as a buyer to get into the market. It also doesn't mean that it's a bad time to sell your house. But the spring is largely seen as the real estate season. But we've even seen in Madison, I'm just looking at my little blog here, or in Dane County at least, sales went down 15% last month. The sale price is still, the average sale price in Dane County is still $350,000. And I think what's happening is sometimes there's just people who can't compete anymore, and they've decided not to, and they're hoping that it will change. I hope that too. We had a conversation in our brokerage meeting the other day. Well, why is it necessarily such a bad thing, if homes are selling fast and not staying in the market very long? And I said, well, it's not a bad thing if you're listing houses. But it can be a bad thing from a business perspective if you primarily represent buyers. You're going to do a lot of work, and you're not going to get a lot of return because people aren't getting deals accepted. And so I think what the numbers show, and my blog maybe will show that, and I'll probably link to the report itself in the blog, but it's that largely the dynamics of the market haven't changed. We still don't have nearly enough houses to meet demand. The reason that we're seeing sales go down, at least in my opinion, is largely due to people just getting tired and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. To that, I would respond, I totally understand. It's super frustrating. It's frustrating as a real estate agent representing a buyer. I had a buyer lose a house last week. I thought he was certain to get it. But there were 6 other people competing, and he got beaten. And we were both upset by it, to be perfectly honest. We put a lot of time and energy, and it becomes a relationship between people. You care when they don't get the house that they really love. And so From a business perspective, if you're working mostly with buyers, you need there to be enough houses out there, and you need there to be some selection for your buyers so that you can close these deals, because you don't make any money if they're not closing deals and you're doing a lot of work for them. But on the top of it, they're often people that you come to know, whose company you enjoy, and it can be hard to watch them continue not to get the properties that they want. I think I'm listening to myself do this video, and I'm like, gosh, it sounds depressing. I don't know that it's depressing, but I would say I don't know that we're going to see a huge market correction unless we see an increase in these interest rates, or we start to just see more properties get in the market, and or construction costs come down where people who might normally buy an existing home can build a home. If you are a buyer, though, I would say if you're approved at an amount that can compete in the Madison market, I'd say stick it out. The fall can be a good time. It is a little less competitive. We can get out there. We can see stuff. You might not get everything you want. You might not get the one you want, but I think you can get something. So that's all I have for today. I promise next time I'm going to do a more positive video. We'll try and do something a little more fun, but I just thought it was interesting that the monthly statistics seem to be bearing out what we're seeing on the ground. Have a great weekend, and I will look forward to talking to you at some point sometime next week. Bye now.